confusion, heat, and controversy about immigration right now. I know we've been hearing about protests, but you know what? Before we fight against those, we need to actually understand what this is about in order to be able to attack it better. Kaya naman po ngayong hapon sa Kababayan LA, minabuti namin na makipag-usap sa mga eksperto sa ating American Dream.
This American Dream segment is brought to you by Aquino & Lowe Law Firm, answering your immigration questions.
Attorney Allison Aquino is joining us today on the show. Allison, hello and welcome to you. I'm sure you are very busy about this immigration bill that was passed in Arizona and the implications of that.
Yes. Hi, Janelle. It's always a pleasure being on your show. The new Arizona law is causing a lot of confusion and a lot of problems, primarily because of the fact that so many people don't quite understand what it is.
Exactly. Can you explain that to us? What is the major concern about this, and how will it affect us?
Well, the Arizona law, the main problem with the Arizona law is that it now criminalizes it now criminalizes an individual who is unlawfully residing in the United States rather than making it a civil penalty. And so now, under the Arizona law, an individual who does not have proper documentation to evidencing that they are lawfully in the United States can be subjected to a criminal fine of at least $500 as well as up to 6 months in jail.
And I hear that whereas now cops, ordinary cops, can stop you out in public and ask you about your documentation, with the immigration bill in Arizona, cops can actually do that. They can single you out in public. Is that true? And ask you for your documentation?
Exactly. And that's the main problem with the law, is that it essentially invites racial profiling.
Right.
Because what it does is that it allows any police officer in the state of Arizona to ask any individual who they believe or who they have reasonable suspicion to believe that the individual is not in the United States. And the problem is, what exactly is reasonable suspicion? And essentially, it could mean that it's any individual who looks like a foreigner. Mm-hmm. So it could be any individual who is not your typical American, including any Filipino.
Right.
So although the bill primarily is being protested by Latino groups, because Arizona is obviously on the border to Mexico, and Central Americans come in through Mexico.
Right.
The bill obviously still applies to Filipinos, because obviously we look differently than your average
American.
Caucasian.
Right. Now, see, Allison, this is cause for concern for us, because even if it passed in Arizona, and who's to say that it's not going to pass in other areas of the U.S.? What are the chances of that happening, and what can we do in order to fight that?
Well, as far as the consequences to those in California and other states, naturally, the bill is particular to Arizona, but it certainly means that individuals probably want to avoid Arizona, because if you are in that state, obviously a police officer can stop and question you and ask you for your documentation. So any individuals may want to avoid going through Arizona per se. Mm-hmm. Now, as far as it going and being extended to other states, hopefully that is not the case. There are some other states that are considering it and considering enacting it, but because there has been so much protest by the federal government, by President Obama, the Justice Department, hopefully it will not extend to other states, and hopefully it doesn't come to California.
Okay. In the meantime, Allison, what do you suggest for people to do? Let's say you're in Arizona and you get stopped, and then you get asked for your documentation. You're not, you're unable to provide something, and then you are subjected to deportation proceedings and stuff like that. What do you do? What do they do?
Well, certainly because of the law, if an individual does not have documentation, and the documentation that's required in Arizona is essentially a driver's license or a identification document, mm-hmm. or some other type of federal state document that is actually issued only upon verification of an immigration status. Mm-hmm. Now, if you do not have any of those documents, in all likelihood, you will be arrested and probably processed for removal proceedings.
Okay.
And any individuals who are placed into removal proceedings, you absolutely need to contact an immigration attorney, because there hopefully will be some type of relief, either in the form of cancellation of removal, perhaps a family-based petition, or some other means in order to see if there's any way to try to fight your deportation.
Okay, that sounds hopeful, Allison. And of course, we're always thankful to you for explaining those matters to us here on Kababayan LA. And thank you for being on our side. It makes us feel better that we have a Kababayan compañero helping us.
Thank you, Janelle. And if I may, try to encourage everyone to attend the May 1st rally that's taking place downtown this Saturday at 10 o'clock at the corner of Olympic and Broadway.
All right, that's how we show our power. Thank you so much, Allison.
Thank you, Janelle.
Aquino and Lowe Immigration Office, they give free consultation. We gave you the number earlier on the screen. That's only for office consultation. So if you want to call them, they can still consult with you or email, but they will charge you a minimum fee for that, all right? When we return on the show, let's get to meet our proud Filipino-American, our Kababayan actor in Hollywood. Don't go away.